Avni Raja is actually standing by with a lot more on expectations as far as taxation is concerned. Avni?
Are high this time round because, like you said, when the corporate taxes were cut, there was a lot of debate on whether that was the right move or should income tax actually be cut. So there is a lot of hope that there will be some relief on the income tax front. Let's tell you what the wish list as far as taxes are concerned is for this time round in the budget. So of course, realignment of the tax slab, but there is a hope that there will be zero tax on income below 5 lakh rupees. Now that currently, it is below 2.5 lakh rupees where there is no tax that needs to be paid. So they want some relief there. 30% tax on income above 20 lakh rupees. So currently that bracket is 10 lakhs. So anybody who earns more than 10 lakhs a year has to pay a 30% tax. People are hoping for will get increased. That slab will get increased to 20 lakhs. So that is the other big point. Of course, a hike in deduction on home loan repayments is the other big part because, of course, real estate sector, there needs to be some sort of a incentive for people to go out and buy homes, and so this is one way of doing that. And hike deductions under 80C to 2 lakh rupees. Now this is only 1.5 lakhs, and there are a whole lot of different small saving schemes which fall into this category. So there is a hope and there is a demand which has been there for several years though that this will be increased from 1.5 lakh to 2 lakh rupees. So that is essentially the most important tax expectations this time round. But like we've been talking, it's a very tightrope walk that the finance minister has to do. How much money do they have to actually spend is what we'll have to watch out for, Tanvi.
Oh yes, absolutely. Basis the fact that they don't have much money, can they really afford to lower the taxes is a big question. Clyde, where do you stand on this debate? Should there be a relief for the honest taxpayer? Will that somehow boost the sentiment and probably boost consumption and spending as well?
Well, good morning, Tanvi, and good morning to all our panelists. Well, I'm not an economist, but obviously I'm going to try and talk like a common man, also a spokesperson. But I was listening to what Vinay was saying, and I also heard Mr. Arun Kumar. I mean, he's a brilliant economist. Now, my point here is, like Vinay said, some experts keep saying that, the fiscal deficit, it's okay to take, kind of risk at this point of time. But how long can you keep taking risks is the question that comes up, because right now what is happening is the government has gone and made a lot of announcements, over the top targets, but the point here is they've not been able to fulfill those targets or reach those targets, if you please. But the point here is, at the same time, they will have to draw a line between those targets and the common man. And when you talk about the common man, we are talking about tax burdens, relief in taxes, we talk about farmers. So it's a tricky situation for the finance minister, I mean, to draw a line between the two and, make both sides happy. Because if you talk about, for example, the $5 trillion economy, I mean, if you're talking about that, I think a year ago or a couple of years ago, Moody's gave a big rating and the government went to town talking about Moody's. The same Moody's is talking about how it's going to be difficult to reach those targets. I mean, we'll have to go by 8% every quarter to reach those targets. So it's going to be difficult. We'll have to wait and see what the finance minister has actually come up with, because there are a lot of numbers. For example, GST. I mean, GST collection, they had their own target of 14%. I mean, they've not reached, I mean, it was a marginal little better than last year. But again, there was a festive season. And even though it was a festive season, they didn't reach that kind of targets. So drop in the, say, for example, the automobile sector, the real estate sector. I mean, there was this whole funny jokes about why the auto sector was not doing well. But that jokes apart, it is a serious concern. We'll have to draw parallels between what is going wrong and what is going right. And the finance minister will have to, actually, my personal take on this is that the government should stop making over-the-top announcements, over-the-top targets. They should go and, be realistic. I mean, I know. I was listening to one. I think today only you were talking about how it's election time.
I can imagine, correct. I can imagine the temptation to make over-the-top announcements and hope that nobody ever comes back to check what you announced and what you actually delivered on.